What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my 2024 INDYCAR season review. And today, it's kind of like an award show. I have 10 awards, 8 good ones, and 2 bad ones. There's kind of like awards that happen throughout the season, and I'm just going to award them to drivers and teams that deserve them, or even races that deserve them. So, without further ado, let's just drive straight into this video. And our first award is going to be Biggest Shock of the Year. And for me, this award has to go to Team Penske with their St. Pete push to pass drama. So if you don't know what happened, essentially Joseph Newgarden, who won the race, was using push to pass on the restarts, and so too was his teammate Scott McLaughlin. Will Power had the components but did not use them, which led to Scott McLaughlin, Joseph Newgarden being disqualified, and Will Power getting a 10-point deduction to his championship. Definitely did not see that coming because Penske owns the series, which I don't think is fair. We could do a whole other video on that. And they own the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which isn't as big as a deal to me, but still not right. I just did not see that coming. Kind of suspicious that the owner of the series found his cars cheating. It brings the question, how long were they doing that? At first, I thought they'd been doing it for a long time. They'd only been doing that for that race. But Penske cheating was not on my bucket list whatsoever. Now let's talk about the best driver of the year. Which driver drove the best over the span of a weekend? That includes practice sessions. That includes qualifying. That includes the race. Now, there's 2 here. You could go Joseph Newgarden Indy 500 win, or you could go Colton Herta Toronto. And most of the time, I would go Joseph Newgarden Indy 500, but just because this guy led every practice session, every qualifying session, and led the whole race, maybe except 1 or 2 laps because of pit stops, and went down as most dominant weekend in IndyCar history, drive of the season goes to Colton Herta in Toronto. Completely smashed everyone's expectations. There will never be another weekend that dominant again. It was unbelievable. Colton Herta, drive of the season. No doubt about it. All right, now it's time to talk about most improved driver, and I think that this is a simple answer. It is Santino Ferrucci. I mean, what a turnaround of a season. He came into this year and said, I'm not making any friends, and I don't care what people think. And he held true to that. And like my interview with Marshall Pruitt at Milwaukee, who would have thought at the beginning of the year that drivers would respect Santino Ferrucci? And now they respect him. And not only that, he is a damn good driver. He can drive the car, and people have respect for it, man. So Santino Ferrucci, most improved driver. The pole at Portland was amazing. Who would have thought that? Overall, man, Santino Ferrucci, most improved driver. And this one goes hand in hand with the driver, because I'm now going to do most improved team, and that's the team Santino Ferrucci drives for, AJ Foyt. I mean, AJ Foyt, they got the Penske partnership, Penske Technologies, Penske Parts. I mean, it's basically 2 other Penske cars. But if you don't know anything about IndyCar, they used to be terrible back markers, and this year they were a solid team. They got a car P9 in the championship. It's been forever since they've done that. Been forever since they got a pole. I mean, there's so much new stuff that they did with Santino this year. Unfortunately, Stingray Robb wasn't very good, but they're going to fix the number 2 driver lineup problem because they're bringing in Dave Malukas this for 2025. So excited to see what that happens. They are a legit team now. Be scared AJ Foyt Racing because they were the most improved team in 2024. And now we're going to do best race of the year. And best race of the year for me is going to be Gateway this year. I mean, it was passing. There was cars running away. There was different strategies. Cars would come back in it. It was literally Gateway was perfect. There was crashes at the end. There was Will Power flipping off his teammates. Dave Malukas was crying in interviews. It was crazy, man. I mean, what could you ask more for Gateway? Gateway was my race of the year. Indy 500, a close second, but I gave the nod to Gateway. So normally this next award, I wouldn't do it, but with all the stand-in performances we had this year where a driver was hurt or a driver was replaced or just, there's a lot of times where just a driver that wasn't expected to race, raced. So we're going to do stand-in performance of the year, and it goes to Connor Daly for finishing up the year in the number 78 Humco's Hollander ride. He did a very good job, even got a podium. So yeah, overall, Connor Daly smashed it. Hopefully the polka dot comes back and sponsors him next year, and he can get that number 78 full-time ride, because that was by far the best stand-in performance of the year. All right, now we're gonna do the best feeling award. This just gave me a good feeling inside, and that goes to Connor Daly getting a podium. That was just amazing. There's not a more deserving driver than Connor Daly to get that podium, and it truly was the best feeling all year that I felt inside. So Connor Daly, that podium, tremendous. Now we have funniest moment of the year, and that goes to when Georgina fell onto the racetrack during the Barber race. That was hilarious. I don't know if it's ever happened in racing before that a statue fell onto a racetrack. Yeah, it was just hilarious. I mean, funniest moment of the year by far. And now this is the part in the video where we have to talk about the two bad awards. The biggest driver fall off and the biggest team fall off. And the biggest driver fall off has to go to Marcus Ericsson. I mean, this guy went from championship contending Indy 500 winning contender to crashing in the first lap of Indy 500 and 15th in the championship. He moved to Andretti this year from Ganassi. Maybe that had something to do with it, but yeah, he fell off really bad. And then the biggest team fall off is Dale Coyne. I know Dale Coyne's not that good of a team, but they fell off much harder than normal, and they were really, really bad this year. So those are my two bad awards. Make sure to subscribe, because I got some really good videos coming out, and see ya!